Chapter 11, Section 1, Problem 2. Test hypothesis regarding two proportions from independent samples. We'll take time to read Problem 2. Sample size N1 is taken from a population where X1 of the individuals have a specified characteristic and a simple random sample N2 is independent and taken from a different population X2. The sampling distribution is proportion 1 minus proportion 2. P hat, we must find P hat, and it doubles for both equations. And then we must find the sample size in P hat has to be greater than 10, and each sample size has to be no more than 5% of the population, and it has to come from a randomized or simple random experiment. So first, the sample must be from a simple random sample or randomized experiment. In clinical trials of Nasonex, 3,774 adult and adolescent allergy patients 12 years and older, were randomly divided into two groups. Randomly, so we check that off. So now we have to find P hat and P hat 2. We plug in X1 equals 547, N1 2103, X2 368, and N2 equals 1671 from the problem. P hat equals 0.26 and P hat of 2 equals 0.220. Now we have to find if the sample size in P hat is greater than or less than 10. So for the first group, we get 404.6172 is greater than 10. And for the second group, we get 286.7436 is greater than 10. So we check that off. And the final one has to be more than 10 million Americans 12 years or older are allergy sufferers. So both sample sizes are less than 5% of the population size. So we check that off. Now we could solve the problem. Our null hypothesis equals proportion 1 equals proportion 2. An alternative hypothesis is P1 is greater than P2 at the alpha level 0.05. We plug in the information above into two-prop z-test, your calculator function, and we get z equals 2.84. Next, we have to draw a probability normal curve with the area of 0.05. We must find the critical value and compare it to the z proportion. To find the critical value, we do inverse norm, 0.05, mean of 0, and standard deviation of 1 in our calculator function. And we get 1.645. So, does 2.84 fall within 1.645? Yes, the statistics 2.84 falls within the critical value 1.645. So we reject the null, making it a type 1 error. P-value is already calculated for us in two-prop z-test. So our p-value equals 0.02 and our alpha level is 0.05. P-value must be less than alpha. So 0.025 is less than 0.05, so we reject the null. In conclusion, there is sufficient evidence at the alpha level 0.05 level of significance to conclude that the proportion of Nasonex users that experience headaches as a side effect is greater than the proportion in the control room. And that concludes Statistics Chapter 11, Section 1, Problem 2, Test Hypothesis regarding two proportion of independent samples.